I want to start by saying that Dana's going to do a great job at Tennessee State. That's an athletic team that plays extremely hard. To his credit, he got the job late and put a team together that you can look at their record, but you have to look at who they've played. They've been competitive, and he's doing a great job. So I want to give him some props there. I thought that our kids competed for 40 minutes. I don't think that we ever got in the flow probably the first 30 minutes of the game offensively against the zone. Anytime you make a few threes, that loosens things up. You have more driving lanes and driving opportunities, which we did that in the second half, particularly probably the last 12 minutes. And then typical of how we play, I thought that our press kind of wore on them a little bit. We forced some turnovers. In large part, again, should be credited to our crowd. They were great. They got into it, helped us get some key stops. And someone asked me after the game, it looks like, you're doing a lot of different things, coaching, cheerleading. I said I was desperate at that point in time, but at some point in time, I think our fans will be getting up on their own, and I won't have to encourage them, but they sure were good, and they sure were helpful tonight.
Coach, you guys ran out 13-point lead early and then kind of just lost the thread. Do you think your guys are starting to used to play with a lead that early in the game and didn't have the intensity?
I think that's always something you kind of worry about. We did the same thing, if you remember, against Marquette. Started off pretty well and got an early lead, and then maybe guys have a tendency to say, well, it's going to be easy, or think it's going to be easy. And that certainly wasn't the case. Tennessee State had no quit in them and bounced back. And, it was a very, very competitive game at halftime. Obviously, we were only up 3. So you try to tell these young guys, I tell them when they have kids, one day they'll understand. You tell them and tell them and tell them, and they're going to keep trying to do what you tell them not to. And maybe that was the case tonight.
How do you kind of balance that? Because obviously you're not thrilled to see a double-digit first-half lead get away, but at the same time you got to like the resiliency with which they respond.
Well, I think so. I mean, we have a resilient bunch, a group that's been through a lot of adversity in regard to, being down at VCU or against VCU, cutting it at 8, being down 13 against Kansas, tying it up. So I think our team has shown throughout the year thus far that there's no quit in them. When things don't go your way, that's part of basketball. You got to keep your head up and keep plugging away, which for the inexperienced team we have, Ben, that's a real tribute to them, because a lot of times with young, inexperienced guys, when things don't go their way, they do hang their head and pack it in, and our team hasn't done that this entire year.
Had a couple of guys burn you from 3 tonight, and it seems to be a recurring theme. Is that just